Hiya, folks. This is Rick Emmett of Triumph.
This is Mark Merrill, also known as Johnny B. Bad.
Yo, guys, it's Mark McKay.
Hey, this is Frank Fletcher.
Hola, amigos. This is Billy Sheehan.
Hey, guys, this is John Karabi.
Hey, guys, it's Leva Leone.
What's up, guys? Cassandra Carson here from Paralandra and the Life Project.
What's up, everybody? It's Logan from All the Pretty Things.
Hey, this is Cody Howell.
Hey, this is Sammy Lee, drummer of the band Red Rain.
My name's Reggie, and you are listening to the Weekly Pour podcast. Thanks so much for joining the most amazing twosome out there.
The most amazing things that can happen to a human being will happen to you if you lower your expectations. Welcome to the Weekly Pour podcast. Here are your hosts, TBT and Ace.
Welcome to the Weekly Pour podcast. I am TBT. That guy over there, that's Ace. And welcome to the 97th episode of the Weekly Pour podcast. 3 away from turning a century old.
That's a monumental occasion, one would think.
It is. Absolutely.
I thoroughly expect you to have something special arranged for this.
It'll probably be this. Yeah, we're going to get booed. We'll get yayed. And, of course, Natalie will be in the chat. So,
well, that's
how much more do you need for a 100th episode?
You know what we should do? What everyone else does that's kind of lazy? A retrospective episode.
I like it.
We'll be like, remember that time when, and then you play the clip, and we can have the little dreamy sequence, like they did on Happy Days and shit.
If you put your thumb up, we'll get a thumbs up on the screen.
Right.
Yeah. So speaking of the screen, if you're watching us live, be sure to watch us on the YouTubes or Facebook. We are live. We are also in the chat in both of those places. So if you comment on Facebook or you comment on YouTube, we'll see it. Only during the live. If you comment afterwards, we'll just get a notification, go in there and probably delete it. Jump into the chat, say hello. The one on YouTube is actually very active, as always. Luckily, it's actually working this time, and nobody's coming in saying you guys look like crap, which I am not blaming your internet, not blaming Mother Nature. So yeah, it looks like YouTube got their shit in one sock finally. And got everything ready. Who's in the chat? Natalie's in there, of course, our moderator extraordinaire. Mama TBT's in there. Sandra's in there. And that's all so far. But if you're in there, be sure to hit that thumbs up, just like I did. Because, it's always good to thumbs up your own show. So do it. Jump in there. Do it. Excellent. So see, we're doing good. So last week, Mother Nature came and gave you a big hello.
That was so strange to me because I got done with work and I had heard that there would be we would have had a severe storm warning, kind of thing.
Right.
And I got done, and as you know, the former sheriff put a very nice gym in our office area, and sometimes I use that. So I was using our gym right after work. It keeps me accountable. I don't go home and sit and then don't get up. I'm right there. It was sunny when I went in there. It was 95 degrees.
In the shade.
Sweltering heat, right? Sweltering.
That too.
Yeah. And I only worked out about 40 minutes. I step out, and in that office area, there are doors with the windows over the door frame, and I look up, and all I see is rain and dark clouds and all this terrible stuff. So I go out. It's cats and dogs. But that's
mass hysteria.
But that's all it was. It was just cats and dogs. And then I find out that we've got trees down everywhere, and electricity's out, and affecting thousands of people. I don't know how long the wind lasted, but I think it was brutal.
It lasted until it stopped.
Right. The indication I got was that it was a strong yet brief windstorm, and then the rain followed after that.
Right. Yeah. And real quick, Lou has jumped in. Hey, Lou, welcome you back from Michigan, of course. And to Ashley, Riley, and Jordana, who are all on their way home from work. They've jumped in too, so thanks for jumping in. I hope whoever is driving is not the one texting into the show. We'll deal with that later if that's the case. But welcome in. We're currently talking about the storm of the week that stopped us from having a show last week, because after you left the gym and seeing all the cats and dogs and mass hysteria.
Right. But what happens? What always happens, right? So, as you know, because you used to live in this neighborhood,
right?
No matter what happens, if the the wind blows a tree one way or a leaf floats down to the ground, our power goes out, right?
Exactly.
Any circumstance, the power goes out in this neighborhood. So we have no power. I tell you that. I text you. And Duke Energy, who we have here, is telling us that it's going to be anywhere from 9:30 to 10:30 p.m. before we get power. So I'm ready for a long, long evening of sitting.
And this was like 4:30 when you text to let me know, hey, I don't have power. So you're looking at 5 hours at least.
Right.
Having no power.
And there's no real contingency plan for that. So I tell you, hey, we may not be able to do the show this week. And you're like, all right, I'll put out an announcement. We'll take care of it. You do that. What happens? We get power back at 5:30.
Yeah.
5:30, an hour later.
Could have done the show.
Could have done the show.
But it was too late.
It's too late.
Yeah. I mean, it's like
anyone that felt bad for me, don't feel bad. I had a power like within an hour.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll let them feel bad. And thank you, Jordana, for jumping in and letting us know that you're doing the typing while Ashley is doing the driving. That makes me feel better. I don't want to be the reason for anybody's accident. Can I say that word?
Jordana is a cool name. That's a cool name.
It is a very cool name. I love that name. Will I get in trouble if I hype up a beverage? No, it's the weekly pour, right?
Right. I was going to ask you when we talked earlier if you were going to discuss this.
I might as well.
It's funny that you just discovered these.
I did. It wasn't even an intent. The intent was to go and pick up something else. But I my foot goes this way and my other one goes this way, and I end up in the liquor store. Anybody that watches TikTok will get that reference. Ended up in the liquor store. And I don't usually drink sweet things.
I thought you were going to say I don't usually drink.
Well, no, there was a comma there. Sweet things. I'm a whiskey guy. Give me whiskey, give me bourbon. Hello, Shannon. How are you? Welcome in. But there I am walking around, stub my toe on the ground. Well, not on the ground, but on something on the ground. Look down, and it's Mountain Dew. But it's not regular Mountain Dew.
No.
It's hard Mountain Dew.
Right, because we have to make everything that way now.
How did I not know about this?
I think they've been out I know I had it a year ago.
Yeah, no clue. So I go and I look and I'm like, oh, they got a 12-pack. Oh, look, they have another 12-pack. 2 different 12-packs of different things. And I'm like, let's get it and try it, because I never had it. So why not just get it? If I don't like it, I'll throw it up in the other bar and save it for people that do. I love it. It is very yummy. One of them, which I'm looking at the can right now, I'm going to show it to the screen. This is Hard Mountain Dew Baja Blast Pineapple. They should sponsor us now.
They should.
Here's the key to this. Zero sugar.
Zero sugar. And this is maybe sounds silly, but that's one of the things I don't want is a bunch of sugar when you're drinking a drink like that.
Right.
Because it all goes to your gut, your butt, whatever. And, you got to watch that wherever you can.
Especially at our age.
Especially at our age. So I don't drink regular soda. I drink all the zero sugar stuff because A, it's pretty good. And B, I can drink it without worrying about all the sugar I'm drinking.
Yeah, hence the no sugar. So lots of flavors. I can't go through them all right now. Obviously, the pineapple. There's a mango. There's regular Baja Blast, like if you like Mountain Dew Baja Blast. There's
Right.
watermelon,
There's an orange.
Loudwire,
Yep.
which came out years ago from Mountain Dew, just the orange flavor of it, and of course regular Mountain Dew flavor. But they're all good. 5% alcohol, and they're really yummy. I do not appreciate the price.
What did you pay?
Woo! Wow, what did I pay? So, all right. Keep in mind, I didn't go to the big box store that we like to call Wally World. I went to a local liquor store.
Good for you.
Oh, this hurts. $21.99 a 12-pack. I didn't know till after I bought it. And then I went online to look and see if they had more in stock. Not to buy it, but okay, to buy it. And yeah, $21.99 a 12-pack. I was like, yeah, no. It's good, but I don't know if it's that good.
I wonder what it cost at Walmart.
$16.99.
Wow.
But ours does not have it yet.
Really? Because
Yeah,
this has been out for a while.
Well, it's only been available like in Kentucky and Ohio area for a while.
Yeah.
And then it takes what, a year or whatever to get here to lovely Indiana.
And the reason I had it is I think the wife and I stopped in Ohio and picked it up at a convenience store because we had heard of it. And I think her brother wanted some. And
as you're driving through town?
Well, we had to get gas.
Okay.
So we stop and get gas, and we go in, and they had tons of it. They had the variety pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we bought the variety pack, 2 or 3 of those. We bought quite a bit of it and packed it on top of all our stuff. That's what I got.
It's the variety pack.
You know, I had to sit on the trunk just to get it to close. You know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But it was good. I highly recommend it if you like a nice, flavorful beverage with a little hint of alcohol. Get it. It's good. You'll pick a flavor. If you don't like it, let me know. I'll come by, pick it up. I'm not paying $21.99 for it, but, you know, hey. Double Mint Chewing Gum just put out Mountain Dew, and they've decided to stick with the double branding idea. The new drink is called Doo Doo. Thank you to Danny Dodge Live, who has jumped in the chat. I shall put this up because everyone needs to see this. Please read it. Double Mint Chewing Gum just put out Mountain Dew, and they've decided to stick with the double branding idea. The new drink is called Doo Doo. Doo Doo. Leaving it there. That guy, Danny Dodge Live, who has jumped in the chat and apparently watching or just jumping in to throw that out there. When we start our podcast and you hear our intro at the end where a gentleman is saying something about us and then says, here are your hosts, that is Mr. Danny Dodge, extraordinaire. It's a pleasure to have him in. He's very technical. When I have technical questions, he's the one I go to because, I don't know. Look at the Instagram. I posted a picture of what this looks like when I set it up. It's not a lot. Yeah, see, you haven't even seen it.
What are you talking about?
The picture that I posted on Instagram. You'll see how technical we are. And then when Danny is available, I will text him or call him or email him and say, help, I have a technical question. For doing podcasts.
I mean, I'm doing the podcast in the most caveman form I can.
Yes. There's technical stuff, though. You know, like your Wi-Fi working.
Well, like, I've had this microphone since the inception of our podcast. I can't get it to work. I mean, it works. But whenever you and I try to see if you can actually hear me, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Worthless.
Yeah.
You know what? And what have we always said? It's the same microphone you're using right now. It's the same one.
Same one.
So
I just leave the condom on mine.
Right. But this is the most, it's called a windscreen, but
whatever.
Primitive setup. I had a friend on Facebook, matter of fact. He posted pictures of podcast setup he's getting ready to do. He's very excited about it. It looked like a news set. He had a desk and the two nice chairs and a background that looked like maybe a green screen. And he had a equalizer sitting on a desk with like 4 channels and some microphones and headphones. And like, holy shit, I'm using an iPhone, an iPad, and a Google Chromebook and a TikTok light.
If anybody gets a chance, go subscribe or check out some of the videos that Danny Dodge Live has put up. What you're talking about, and follow him on Facebook as well, all of his social medias. What you're talking about is exactly what he has. I won't tell you all the stuff he's done, but I will say that him and I have made a commercial. We should have submitted it to the Super Bowl. It was a Jack Slinks commercial. It's fantastic stuff. He's the one that put it all together and everything, and makes a cameo appearance, of course, because it's what he does.
Okay,
Genius.
So he has some skills and some skills.
Mad skills.
Nice.
Yeah, they're angry skills. They're not just mad. They're angry.
You'll get angry when you look at what Shannon said she paid last year for the Mountain Dew 12-pack.
I seen it. I was ignoring it because it really, really hurts. It's like $10 less than what I paid.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's in Ohio. So I don't know what that says about Indiana. And why did it take so long to get here? What?
Toll roads.
Is that, you think so?
They had to get across from Kentucky.
I guess so.
I think it's dangerous for us both to take a drink at the same time because we have awkward silence. Speaking of awkward silence, I got to tell you a story.
Okay.
So there's a gentleman that I do not know, and I'm glad I do not know. He is currently sitting in awkward silence right now because of what he did for his wife on their anniversary. I don't know if you read this. I don't know if you heard about it. But there's a man that is apparently in the doghouse after sending a certain Guns N' Roses song to his wife on their anniversary. The individual, this was a story that was on Reddit earlier this week on their 14th anniversary. 14 years, quite an accomplishment. If you're familiar with anything from Guns N' Roses, you know that, there's some interesting lyrics. Well, this gentleman, thinking that he was doing something very, very lovely for his wife, couldn't think of a way to really commemorate their 14-year anniversary. Who has a song called 14 Years? Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses.
So what does he do? He sent her the song on YouTube. Then, apparently he's a doctor. He started his surgery thinking that he had done something that was like very, very loving and outstanding, doing good husband things. He just didn't quite remember that the lyrics were what they were, and she did not care very much for his love song. Main reason is because some of the lyrics for 14 Years by Guns N' Roses include the line, "It's been 14 years of silence. It's been 14 years of pain. It's been 14 years that are gone forever that I'll never have again."
Did he know? Had he heard the song before?
Sure, but how many people don't really listen to the lyrics? All they do is listen to the music, the rhythm.
Dude, you try and hold me down with your complaints. You cry and moan and complain. You whine and tear. What is this?
Yeah, somebody suggested that he needs to send her Sweet Child of Mine now as a damage control.
That's the closest thing they come to a love song.
Yeah, so, I mean, Patience isn't even really a love song.
No, that's a guy moping.
Right.
He's moping on the steps.
Yeah, so let's hope that when the 15th year anniversary rolls around, he picks a better song.
I'm lost in these lyrics because they're terrible if you're sending them to your wife for the anniversary.
Yeah.
Wait, verse 2. Your stupid girlfriend tells you that I'm to blame. What? He has never heard the song. He just thought it was romantic.
Yeah, 14 years. Oh, that's how long we've been together.
It's got to be a love song.
Yeah. I mean, and like Lou points out, he could have used "I Used to Love Her."
That's what I thought you were going to go with.
Yeah. But it's the 14th. It's an anniversary. It's not an ending. I wouldn't use "I Used to Love Her." But if you can't remember those lyrics, then you have a lot of issues because there's no tune, there's no real music to that song. It's strictly words.
But
And banjo.
I mean, we don't know this guy. So what if he just has a wicked sense of humor, thought this was hilarious, and his wife's just sick of his sense of humor on serious occasions?
Maybe that's what got him through doing surgery, performing surgery. Maybe he was doing a vasectomy and said, "I'm going to send her 14 years. That'll work.
That'll work.
That'll teach her."
As long as his mind is free of worry while he's doing my vasectomy, I'm good.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, so that's not the only public service announcement that we have for this week. There's another. And this one comes courtesy of Ozzy Osbourne. What do you think of when you see a beverage? A good drink, right?
Right, you drink it.
Something refreshing. Something to cool you off on those hot 95-degree days other than it raining cats and dogs and getting wind that doesn't stop until it ends. For some reason, Ozzy has literally teamed up with the beverage company or whatever they are, Liquid Death, to help spread a message. This is quite the message that needs to come from Ozzy, because who better to pick for this specific message? That message: do not snort Liquid Death's electrolyte drink mix, which is called Death Dust. Apparently there were countless comments on Liquid Death's Instagram about snorting Death Dust, which is the healthy beverage brand decided to team up with Ozzy for a new video warning about questionable uses of Death Dust.
Okay, so this came from somewhere.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was one of those dumb challenges, like eating Tide Pods or...
I was literally going to say that.
Or what's the other one? Swallowing a whole spoonful of cinnamon or something stupid.
Right.
So it came from somewhere, and somebody maybe done this. Maybe Ozzy has done this.
Look.
Did he have to test this theory before he signed the contract to team up with Liquid Death?
So why did he not team up with Raid to tell people to not snort
ants? I don't know. I don't know. Because that would have been lucrative.
Yeah, very. I would have bought Raid simply because of Ozzy.
Can you imagine the commercials?
Yes. Ants. It's probably what it would have sounded like. I haven't watched the video for the Liquid Death, but I can only imagine.
You didn't have the British.
Oh, true. The collaboration follows the release of Liquid Death's newest batch of Death Dust, which has dialed up the flavor intensity in a big way. And just so you know, single flavor packets are also now available for the first time. According to Ozzy, he says, "I love how Liquid Death makes a healthy thing like hydration more fun. Sharon, the family, and I drink Liquid Death all the time. It's delicious. But seriously, don't snort or inject anything they make. It's much better for drinking." He says it's much better for drinking. Does that mean he tried it?
It sounds like he did. It sounds like he tried it.
I don't understand. I do not understand. But it's available on Amazon. We'll post the link so you can get in there and watch it. Not really. Don't order it.
Have you ever bought like those packets individually at a convenience store?
Of Liquid Death? No.
I don't know about Liquid Death, but the one I like to buy, I buy it, of course, in bulk because it's cheaper. buy at a convenience store, I might pay $10 for 6 or 8 or 12.
Right.
They're like almost $3 for one at a convenience store.
Yeah,
So,
I get the little things that you put in your water, like tea or your Kool-Aid has them. I mean, everybody's got them. But never once have I said, man, I'd love to snort that off of a hooker's ass.
I bet you have thought about it.
Twice.
Yeah, I bet
It was
you have.
it was the pineapple flavor. Yeah.
If Hard Mountain Dew had a powdered form. Yeah, exactly.
I'm sold. But I wouldn't snort it.
Yeah,
Gosh, that would burn. It's bad enough when I get one of these flying around and starts tickling my nose. I can't handle it. Speaking of tickling your nose, let me ask you this, and this is going to go with the chat as well, because somebody's got to step in here, and I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus. Sandra, in the chat.
No, I did not snort pixie dust as a kid.
What? Did you ever snort pixie dust? Isn't that our moderator? How do we ban her?
You've done that before.
I have. Speaking of that, we still do not have Wes this week, and we also do not have Kathy.
I know it's getting to be a pattern.
Yeah, no, never snorted pixie dust or pixie sticks as a kid. No, I never did. I'm sorry, Natalie. Apparently you did.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. I mean, did I smoke? I know not pixie dust. Did I smoke candy cigarettes? Absolutely.
Oh, well, yeah.
I'd put them out on my friend's arms. Kathy, you are here. Just quiet. Stop being quiet. Jump in so we know. On a dare. Natalie, I also have a bridge that I need to sell you in New York. Wait, if she did that on a dare, never mind. Okay, anyway, what was I talking about?
You said there was something else.
Yes, we're talking about nose, right? Or something?
Tickling.
Yeah, that's what it was. I'm not going to, and like I said, I'm not going to throw anybody. What? Oh, okay. Never snorted pixie sticks, but I did put it in my Zima.
Remember Zima?
I do. We're not going to talk about anything else other than the things you should not do anymore.
Well, you're still tickling.
Okay, I'm going to go back to that. It's the chat. It gets me every time. I just bought electric toothbrushes.
Okay.
I'm not, first time ever. I've been using the manual ones forever. Not going to make the action because somebody will call me out on it and probably make a meme out of it. But these things are kind of cool. You press the button, you hold it to your teeth, and it does the job.
They're supposed to be very, very good for your hygienic mouth.
Right. If you could see my teeth, they feel great. Or they look great. If you could see them, they look great. If you could feel them, they feel great. They're smooth. Either that or I've rubbed off all the taste buds from my tongue. Anyway, so I bought a pack of 2 because I'm not by myself. I've got a Mrs. TBT.
Right.
What better? It's obviously better than the song 14 Days to give to her. So I said, hey, I'm getting us toothbrushes. Dentist recommended, approved by the American Dental Association.
It's good stuff.
I'm using it, doing the thing. It lets me know when I need to switch sides. All kinds of high tech toothbrush. Until I look over at Mrs. TBT, and she's like, "Does it tickle your nose?" I'm like, "No, I'm not brushing my nose." However, I now get to watch her nightly, daily, more than once, hold her nose as she brushes her teeth.
What?
I don't know why this is important to say or tell, but it's entertaining.
I'm trying to figure out where she's brushing that it would tickle her nose.
Her mouth.
Yes, but
like a back tooth or I don't know. I have to stop. I can't continue to watch her as she's giggling because it's tickling her nose.
I've used them. I've never been tickled by one.
No. What? It's got to be a girl thing.
It must be.
Because Natalie just said, if you're listening to this after the fact in our chat, Natalie just said, OMG, it does mine too. So.
I think Natalie's just giggly.
Well, I think they both are. If they're giggling from the. Whatever. I'm not. Just no.
Well, I'm glad you shared that.
I'm really not. I don't know why I did.
Because it's strange and funny.
It is very strange. I don't understand. So remember, kids, don't put pixie stuff in your Zimas. Don't snort liquid death, thanks to Ozzy. And if your nose is ticklish, don't get an electric toothbrush. We are the Weekly Pour Podcast, and that is your public service announcement. Any other time I would have ended the show like right there, because that was a perfect thing. That was perfect to end right there.
Yeah, and you didn't save that story till the end.
No, because I've got something else.
Oh, okay.
I really don't. I'm just going to try to come up with something. What do you got?
Well, I'm looking through the stories that we had talked about earlier. This is from Blabbermouth. And we found this interesting. I found this interesting, especially because it's Lita Ford. I like Lita Ford.
Yes.
Lita Ford is a accomplished rock musician. She's got a lineage that goes back into the 70s.
Yeah.
She's not put a record out in a while, since 2012. And she is ready to put out a new record. We don't know the date yet. We don't know how fleshed out this whole thing is. But Lita Ford says her upcoming album is a concept record and that there's a big story behind it.
Oh.
So when I think concept record, I think of Operation Mindcrime, The Who, Tommy, Quadrophenia, that sort of thing.
The Coheed Cambria.
Right. Everything they do is a concept record, I think.
Right.
I don't think Lita Ford.
No.
So I don't know where this is coming from, but she is pairing up with a guitarist producer named Gary Hoey or Hoey. I'm not sure how you say that. And he has worked with her before, but she's collaborating with him on this concept. She's throwing ideas at him. He is helping her flesh this thing out. She's really, really pumped about it. From this article, she says, the studio for me has always been trying to teach everybody what I want to hear. And a lot of that is because they basically don't know themselves as a producer or an engineer. I've had some of the greatest engineers, and now I have some of the greatest producers. And this album, we're finished with it now. So she is finished with it. It was produced by Gary Hoey, or Hoey. Gary is a great musician, great guitar player. And Gary and I can throw any idea at Gary, and he would try and make it happen. And this thing about being in the studio is you and you're trying to make things happen. So that's all exciting. I'd like to know what the concept is. I'm scanning through the article. She's not really telling us what the concept of it is. And that's what I want to know. Maybe the story's too big to explain. Let's see. But yeah, the creation of this new record is totally in her control, she says. No other songwriters on it that she had to work with because someone else wanted her to do it. So like a record label, wanting her to work with outside writers. So anyone on this record that she collaborates with are people that she likes and people she knows. And it's a concept record. There's a big story behind it. And so it's going to open a lot of doors for a lot of things. A lot of people are going to be able to relate to this record, and it has some great musicians. And she explains who those musicians are. Bobby Rock, playing drums. Jean Bouvier wrote one of the songs with her. Gary Hoey, of course, is playing and producing. Max Norman, who we've all heard of because he worked with Ozzy and Megadeth.
Right.
So she's got the right people in place, it sounds like. She's excited that she's got a concept. I just don't know what that is, but I'd like to know.
Yeah. I think I've looked at the same article, and I'm trying to think. I mean, Lita Ford's got a lot of stories. A lot of stories.
Well, I wonder, knowing a little bit about Lita Ford, I wonder if the concept has anything to do, maybe not, with the whole relationship she had with her husband, ex-husband. Anyone that knows Lita, with the situation there where he basically has taken custody of her children from her. She has fought that for years and years and years, trying to get able to even see her children. She says the children have been brainwashed, turned against her, things like that. I wonder if it's something to do with that. Uh, she doesn't talk a lot about it, but artists find other ways to express themselves and get that, get those stories out and write down their pain, their heartbreak. What if there's a concept behind that? I wonder.
A good possibility.
I mean, it could be. It doesn't always have to be some sort of space age futuristic story. It doesn't have to be about government oppression and people being brainwashed to go kill other people and nuns that are strangled by their rosary beads and
Right. That sounds familiar.
right, because it's a great concept, right?
Yeah, it's like a mind crime.
Exactly.
What?
So they always don't have to be so heavy handed.
Yeah.
It could be totally different. It could be something totally different. It's whatever Lita's got, coming out of her head at the time, I guess. But hopefully, we will know something soon.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting once we are able to find that out.
The article just goes on, talking about a lot of other stuff she's done in the past and that sort of thing, but it's not telling us much more about the concept.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll have to wait until we start hearing some tracks.
Exactly. Speaking of waiting, if you're a fan of Heart, you're going to end up having to wait just a little bit longer for a tour. Unfortunately, Heart has postponed its Royal Flush tour so that Ann Wilson, the 50% half of Heart versus her sister, the other 50%, Ann Wilson is actually going to be undergoing cancer treatment. At 74 years old, she said in a statement just today that she recently underwent an operation to remove something that, as it turns out, was cancerous. It was a successful surgery. She's feeling great, but her doctors are now advising her to undergo a course of preventive chemotherapy. And good for her, she's decided to do it. So her doctors are instructing her to take the rest of the year away from the stage in order to fully recover. She absolutely plans to return to the stage in 2025, and we'll share details with fans as soon as we can. Anybody that may have had tickets for this, those tickets will be honored on the rescheduled dates. And you'll get more info about that probably from wherever you bought the tickets or from Heart's official website at some point soon. So obviously we wish her, tremendous amount of support and best of luck with going through this.
Right.
Good to hear that the surgery was successful. Now it's just the chemotherapy part, whether it be, I don't know the different forms. There's pills that you can take. There's, the liquids and all that, but no matter
Right.
what, hopefully
Yep.
it'll be something that she can easily get through and we'll have her for another 73 years, 74.
Well, and it's good on her to take care of her health. And at the age she's at 74, you might want to take all of that time just to make sure this is all taken care of. You got to recover from the chemo treatments too.
Yeah.
We don't, I mean, we all know chemotherapy, just wreaks havoc on your body. People are violently sick afterward a lot of times, depending on what this is. There's hair loss and all sorts of things. Wouldn't want her up there trying to sing and, sing while she's trying to recover from some sort of cancer treatment. And it's a personal thing. She's vague on what it is, but I don't think it really matters.
No.
No, she's sick and she's getting, taken care of.
Yeah.
So we'll be better for it because next year we'll have another tour set up and they'll be ready to go.
Yeah, and anybody that's pissed off because they don't get to see the tour, then you can just piss off because, she needs to take care of herself, obviously. So whatever.
Right. And Nancy will keep herself busy anyway because she has her own band that she has recorded with, toured with. It won't be anything on her. She'll be able to handle it. And then we'll be ready to go in 2025, probably in the summer, this time of year.
You know who else is getting ready to go in 2025? I'm excited about this. I'm very excited because I've been a fan since 1986. Poison.
Look what the cat dragged in.
Oh, open up and say, ah. So Poison is going back out on tour in 2025. Ricky Rocket recently confirmed this news. Not only did he confirm that news, he also stated on his social media, Poison will be touring in 2025. As usual, there will be no backing tracks. Live, raw, and uncut. Warts and all. Pretty sure he could have left that part out.
I love how we have to come out with that now, though, because of all the controversy.
It's everyone. It's everywhere.
The ones that probably are using it aren't saying anything. And the ones that aren't using it are adamantly coming out and saying, we are not using tracks, come and see us, that kind of thing. Bret Michaels is the kind of vocalist, though. We learned this from the stadium tour that, he was holding up just fine.
Oh, yeah.
He sounds as good as he ever did. He's one of those guys that doesn't seem to age in a lot of ways. He's able to move around the stage. He's able to sing like he always did. And, he's always active. So, no, I don't think they're going to need any tracks.
At 84 years old, he still does a great job getting the tour or getting the crowd going and, keeping them energized for the show. He's not 84 years old.
Is he even 60 yet?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go, I haven't got it pulled up yet, but I'm going to go with 62. 61. Okay. I was close.
Okay. I was guessing close to that as in 58. But
yeah. It's 61 years old. Ricky does go on, or no, this was an interview with Bret. He stated that it's going to be all original. So you'll have CC, Bobby Doll, Ricky, and himself do another big stadium and arena tour in 2025. Think about other bands that could be up and coming or coming back around again for 2025. There's potential here for this to be an amazing tour if Poison's the headliner. Now, and there was a lot of people during that stadium tour that said that Poison should have been the headliner when they were out with Motley Crue, Def Leppard, and Joan Jett, because Poison was getting a lot of good press and a lot of good positive feedback from fans and everybody that went. So it'll be interesting to see who they tour with.
You and I talked about when the stadium tour ended. Why weren't they going on? Why weren't they going on a little further? And when the stadium tour picked back up in overseas in England and such, they weren't with it. It was Def Leppard and Motley Crue pretty much.
Right.
But they weren't keeping it going. And I'm glad to see that they're coming sooner than later.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's years. It's literally years before we see Poison again. Bret Michaels is always doing something. I think he's doing his second Party Gras tour this summer, right? He did one last year where he brings out bands and guest singers, and it's just a big party, a big rock party.
Right.
So he's he forayed into a country phase at one point, and just whatever Brett wants to do. So he's always active, and Poison sometimes seems to be, on the back burner, always on the back burner. But I think it's because he knows he can just pull a rabbit out of his hat and put on a tour whenever he wants.
Yeah, and people will go.
People will go. Well, and here's something else to be said, though. I think sometimes there's a little bit of tour fatigue with certain bands because they never stop. They never stop. We just mentioned Def Leppard, and they would be one that they never stop touring. If you didn't see them last year at your town, chances are you'll see them this year if you want.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Journey's never stopped in the last 15 years or so. It's cyclical all the time. So when Poison takes a break and you don't see them for a while, it's kind of special, right? It's kind of cool. GNR's been constantly touring since 2014 or so, right?
In some way, shape, or another.
Right. So if you saw them last year, you probably will see them this year.
Yeah.
That's somewhere. So I think we get a little bit of fatigue, and I get why some of these guys are doing it. It's not always the money. I think sometimes when you put yourself on a hiatus, GNR being on a hiatus, through most of the 90s, the early 2000s, all that stuff.
Right.
Maybe you want to squeeze as much out as you can while you're still standing. I mean, maybe it's not just the money, but it's like, man, let's just play. But then you keep doing it and doing it and doing it. It's like, oh, we saw those guys. We see them last year, and they're back. And then now you're not selling out shows like you were.
Yeah, and a band, for me, a band like Poison, those are the ones that seem to actually be doing it for the fans.
Right.
You've got that it's going to be 3 years now, a 3-year hiatus where you don't tour. And like you've said, they've not saturated the market, and
No.
people will clamor for it. They want it.
Right. They'll be super excited. And if they get the right combination of opening acts, and maybe people you haven't seen in a long, long time.
Yeah.
Or you don't see all the time, that would be really, really special, I think. We've talked about, and it won't happen, but we've talked about Rat getting together and, finally just getting their shit over with and just playing. They would be a great co-headliner with Poison.
They've done it before. Poison opened for Rat back in, I think it was 86.
Right. And Rat, in one form or another, has toured. I know that. But they really haven't done a full-scale shed tour, arena tour, nothing like that in, 20 years?
Easily.
And that would be really cool. I mean, we see a lot of bands that constantly tour because they're doing theater dates. They're doing amphitheaters because they need the money and they got to keep going. It's not like that with Poison. And I don't think it's like that with Rat. I don't think. So that would be really cool. That would be one I would pick. You got anyone else you could think of that they could have with them?
Firehouse.
Okay.
Only with the new singer.
Right.
Do Firehouse. I'm not going to mention.
He's really doing well, too, I hear.
Yeah. Very.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting one, and I only bring them up because there's actually some news with this band, and I think you could get the same crowd, but what about Stryper?
Right, I knew that's where you were going.
Yeah,
I think they would be good, and I think yeah, you're going to get if you're not getting the same, you're getting close to the same crowd.
Sure,
it's pretty close.
Well, but here's the difference there. You get someone like Poison who hasn't put out new material since, I don't know, 2012, maybe. Stryper continuously puts stuff out. I mean, they just recently, what is the date of this? June 26th, they have just released a new single entitled "End of Days," that is going to be on a new album, and it's constant with them. Seeing them on tour is a treat. I know they're currently involved in their acoustic tour that Oz is not in right now because of his tumor issue that he had to get taken care of. But not only did they release this new single, which is very heavy musically and lyrically, it reminds me of something that could have been on In God We Trust from, I don't know, 88, 89, somewhere around there. Very good. Sounds like very classic Striper, but it's heavy. It's melodic. Anything that Michael Sweet puts out is melodic and good. Well, not only did they put the song out, but they've also added more dates for their 40th anniversary tour. The first one is July 18th. They don't do anything until September, so it looks like they're taking the month of August off.
40th anniversary being 1984, which we have brought up so many times because there's so much good stuff coming out in 84.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Here's something to add to that. Striper has been around. They were formed 41 years ago. 41 years ago. And I told you right before we went on the air, this is something that literally makes me feel old.
But another thought, because you brought up attracting the same crowd. I think you would, because they toured with these bands back then.
Even. Sure.
Even with their religious slant that Striper has, they didn't have a problem hooking up with these bands as opening acts and such.
Oh no.
I don't think it hurt anyone's tour to have them on there.
I don't either, but here's my issue with it, because you don't know. I would have a very hard time right there trying to decide who's going to be the headliner. Could you do a co-headliner like Motley Crue and Def Leppard and switch them out every night that you have?
You're talking about Poison and Striper?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a question. I think it's a Poison headlining tour.
Well, I agree, but Striper can pull the headliners. They could totally do it. So that's just kind of interesting to think about, in my opinion. Which one would it be? I would go either way. No matter who it was, I'd be there, because that would be a fantastic show. I don't know. There's some others that you could throw in there, but
right.
I don't know.
I was trying to think. Is Slaughter still doing shows currently? I know they have, but they could probably throw it together.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to make you mad.
Don't you do it? Don't. I was thinking of myself.
You know who could open for them?
I know.
Skid Row.
I knew you were going to say it. I knew you were going to say it. But here's the thing. You're not wrong.
No.
You're not wrong.
And whether they have Bach or not, they would be fine. They would be a good opening. It would be good.
Okay, now that you've done that and you've opened Pandora's box, I have an admission, and you started this. This is your fault.
Oh yeah.
You sent me. I don't know. It was a week. We were going to talk about this last week, but now I've had whole another week to listen to things. Constantly. I'm just pounding it into my brain. And then I decided to post it on our social media. So if anybody has seen it already, knows what I'm getting ready to talk about. If you have not, you need to get a hold of a copy of Sebastian Bach's latest and greatest solo album.
Yeah.
Don't remember what it's called because I don't have it in front of me. Something about the boy and the man.
Yeah, the child inside the man or something.
I was close. This album does not have a skippable track, in my humble opinion. And you even threw this out at me, and I laughed until I listened to it. But this absolutely has album of the year potential.
It is that good.
It is phenomenal.
You know, and when you hear it, you wonder what Sebastian is going to sound like. That's the first thing I think of. What's he going to sound like? He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
He sounds phenomenal. I don't know anything they did in the studio. I don't know any of the details of the nuts and bolts. For all I know, this is how Sebastian sounds when he's in the studio at his age. At his age, and I'm going to take it at face value for now. It sounds fantastic. He's phenomenal, and there's not a skip on this. There's not a skip.
No. The whole thing. I've listened to it enough that I was starting to relate those songs to other ones. I was texting you saying, hey, this one sounds like this. Hey, this one sounds like this. And I still get that. I stopped for a couple days, went back to it, and I'm like, holy crap, that is that song. But it's Sebastian. His army of people behind him in this band, that guitarist
whoever's in the band.
Whew! Well, I do know the last time I checked, and I don't know if he's on the album or if he's just touring or what, but his son plays drums for him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, Paris, his son from a long time ago. Looked him up, and I was like, holy crap, that is a young Sebastian with black hair. But yeah, plays drums. If you go to Sebastian's Wikipedia, he's listed as a member of the band.
Okay.
But I've not seen enough information on this new album to know whether or not he's actually playing on it. Kathy says it's great, but she wishes the vinyl wasn't so expensive. Kathy, do you want to divulge how much the vinyl is? I'm just curious. And if you don't want to say it, you can wait till we're offline. But I'm very curious how much the vinyl is. That album, my gosh. Normally, I would tell you if you want to spend the money, you go to Kathy and get it, but go to YouTube and listen to it first because it's there. The whole album's on there. Give it a listen because that's one you want to own. All right, Kathy jumped in and she said the album or the vinyl is $44. Yeah, kind of expensive. Very expensive.
I wonder why that is. Why would that be so expensive?
Well, she says double blue vinyl.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the reason, but it's good. If you were a fan of Skid Row, if you're a fan of Sebastian Bach and some of his solo stuff, to me, it's very reminiscent of Slave to the Grind.
Yeah, it is.
It's heavy.
Well, I sent you 2 other songs from his debut solo record today.
Yes.
Mainly because I wanted you to pick that up. That's where Sebastian lives, is in that record. If you like that record, that's what you're getting out of Sebastian in one form or another. And then you're getting a blend of other little influences in there.
Yeah.
You pointed out a song, the last song on the record. I think it was I Live, or what is it called? To Live Again. To Live Again.
Yeah.
Sounded like a little bit anyway, On With the Show by Motley Crue.
Yep.
And I told you I would listen. I listened today. I'm like, oh, I picked it up.
Yeah.
It's just a hint, like an homage, like he's trying to just throw that in there, to let you know that he knows what that is.
Yeah.
Great. To Live Again, it's the last track. And often, I don't know about you, but often I find that last tracks on the records, back in the day anyway, tend to be the best ones sometimes.
Yeah.
And I would challenge that one might be the best one. It's a ballad. It's reminiscent. It's reminiscent of something you would hear on Slave to the Grind, whether it was Wasted Time, In a Darkened Room, Quicksand Jesus, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And you know what? I might fork over $44 for a record that good.
Absolutely.
In double blue vinyl.
Yeah. But not the Styx Foreigner picture disc at $59.
Right. I am trying to pull up his his band, but the internet is fighting me on it.
That's okay. We're running out of time. I want to thank everybody for joining us this week. Thank you for all 7 of you that watched. I'm just joking. Am I? All right. I don't know. Hey, just remember, we'll be back next week. We're 1 episode closer to episode 100. We'll figure out something cool to do. Maybe we'll change backgrounds. Maybe even change shirts.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Just remember, if you want to make your tissue dance, put a little boogie on it.